Hello everyone. Today's going to be a slightly different video. I'm going to be talking about the blue cards coming in the next set, Blazing Aura, of the Dragon Ball Fusion World card game. As you can tell from my videos, I'm a Vegeta player, Vegeta leader player, so I'm going to be looking at all these cards from that perspective. I haven't really played any other leaders, that seriously or anything like that, and I'm by no means an expert at card games, or this game even specifically. I just thought it'd be fun to go over them from my point of view. We're going to start off by looking at the one cost Bulma with 5,000 attack, 10,000 support, combo support. On play, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to one of your Vegeta cards and it gets plus 10,000 power for the turn. That is actually pretty good. The more I think about it, the more I think this is really going to help Vegeta in general, because it says Vegeta cards, not Vegeta battle cards. So it doesn't have to be a Vegeta that's on the battle area. It can be your leader as well that gets this boost. And it's a common card. This is really looking good because it's a common. I'm glad I won't have to look too hard for it. Moving on, we'll look at Future Mai. One cost, 5,000 attack, 10,000 combo support. Another common card. On play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1 for the turn. Not bad. I'm not sure how often Vegeta will use this, but it couldn't hurt. Maybe with the new Vegeta support that lowers the cost of cards. It could work maybe with like Final Hope Slash, or even two cost Go Super Saiyan Go 10. It's also an Earthling 1 cost, which means it's a peel-off target, which is, well, Earthling. I don't know if I said Earthling before, but it's 1 cost, so it's a prime peel-off target, if nothing else. Next is Goku, 1 cost, 15k attack, 10k support. Saiyan, common card. It's just a regular basic card, doesn't have any skills. Not bad, basic stat lines. Cool picture, I'm not gonna lie, it's awesome. Up next is Goten. A new Goten, 5,000, 1 cost card with 10k support. On play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with cost of 2 or less and return it to its owner's hand. It's also a common card with Saiyan and Earthling. Another target for peel-off to get if you need just the combo power if you want to use its effect. It's not too bad, actually. For 1 cost, you can send any 2 cost back to your opponent's hand. And kind of like the Super Saiyan Goten they have right now from the starter deck, but without having to attack. So in that sense, if you don't want to risk awakening your opponent too soon, it could be pretty beneficial. I might try running this in place of the original Super Saiyan Goten. And again, if nothing else, a peel-off target for 10k combo. Next is Supreme Kai. Well, Shin in the game, but I'm just going to call him Supreme Kai. 1 cost, 5,000 attack, 5,000 combo. Has Supreme Kindness description. A common card. They revealed this a while ago, but look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Potara and its special traits, add it to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. This is good if you're running a lot of Potara cards, and I'm not sure how much Vegeta is going to use that right now, but I'll have to look at the others and ruminate on that for a bit. Moving on to the next card is a basic 1 cost, 15k attack with 10k support Vegeta card with the Saiyan special trait. It's a common card. Regular vanilla card. I like the artwork. It's pretty nice. Not as cool as the Goku, honestly, but that's mostly because I love the blue on the Goku. Next is 1 cost, 5k attack, 10k combo support Videl. An Earthling with a rare rarity, I should say. Activate once per turn. For 1 energy, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, play up to 1 skill-less battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. This could be good on your second turn if you have a lot of skill-less cards. Vanilla, like the Goku or the Vegeta. You can play her, and then for one more, you play another one. I mean, at that point, you're pretty much spending 2 energy anyway. It's not a big deal. Not really much of a difference. It's really more if you play on your second turn, you summon her, activate her effect for 1 energy, and play a 3 cost vanilla monster, skillless battle card, which can be good. I'd have to see the rest of them, or think more so about it. I'm not sure if Vegeta's going to be using this too often, but something to think about. And again, it's a 1 cost Earthling prime peel off target. Coming up next is Zamasu, a 1 cost 5,000 attack, 5,000 support, Supreme Kai special trait. Effect is permanent if you have a Goku Black battle card. This card can't be KO'd. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Goku Black, and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. Okay, so this is obviously more of a Goku Black type card. I don't really run, as a Vegeta player, naturally, I don't really run a lot of Goku Blacks, although I have been, in my last few videos, well, they haven't come out yet, but they'll be coming out soon, where I'm kind of testing out different builds for Vegeta. One of them, I'm running the 3-drop Goku Black that draws you a card if you have 7 or fewer in your hand, mostly for the combo support. But, never hurts to draw an extra card too. But this, could work in tandem with that if I decide to focus more on Goku Black type strategy within Vegeta. I'll have to think about that. It's also a rare card, so not too hard to come across. Next is a skillless 2 cost 20k attack, 10k support, Future Trunks. With the Saiyan and Earthling special traits, it's a common card, just a vanilla card with no special abilities. Good, I like the picture. It's pretty awesome, actually. Up next is Kibito, a 2 cost 15k attack, 10k support card with the Attendant special trait. It's an uncommon card. Actually, Attendant, I think, is a new one. I don't think I've seen that in any other card. Its ability is when KO'd, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 extra, and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. So, I'm not sure how good this one's going to be, because it has to be KO'd in order to do it. But the ability to add an extra card to your hand is always awesome. That's why I liked Piccolo in the original, from the starter deck, Vegeta starter deck. It actually helped me win a couple games where I drew him. I played him, got a Gallic gun, and was able to finish the game with that. But for him, I'm not sure. I'll have to, maybe more cards with the Attendant tagline will eventually be released, and maybe this will become much better in future sets. Next is the 2 cost 20k attack, 0 combo support, 0 combat, so yeah, no, 0 combo support, Vegito. The Saiyan and Potara special traits. When KO'd, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with the cost of 2 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. Now this card, this one, I'm torn. I know I've heard a lot of people say it's terrible, and I can definitely see why. But I do know there's another card in this set that will come across at some point that can KO your own cards. So if you can KO this card to activate its effect, because if nothing else, it's kind of like, instead of bouncing it to the hand, it puts it back at the bottom of their deck, which is always great. But the 0 combo is really what hurts this card. It's an uncommon, so it won't be too hard to come across. And yeah, I'll have to definitely have to try it out at some point if I go with the more Vegito-themed Vegeta deck. The next card is going to be Zamasu. 2 cost, 20k attack, 5k combo power, Supreme Kai special trait. It's a secret rare. Permanent. This card can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. When attacking, discard 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card. Okay, so this one I can definitely see. I'm already thinking about maybe testing this one out. The only bad part is that it has to be attacking to use its discard and draw. But that's still not too bad, because sometimes I find myself with a Gallic gun I can't use, or Final Hope Slash, or maybe I want to get something in my discard pile maybe I want to get the Final Hope Slash in my discard pile so I can use Peel Off to bring it back, or something like that. You never know. If you want to get rid of a card in your hand, this you can do it right away and then draw a card. Hopefully you don't get something worse. Alright, next is Zuno. A 2-cost, 5k, 10k combo support alien special trait card. It's also common. It's a blocker, and on play, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. This, I'm not too sure how to feel about this. Really, I don't see why you would want to use 2 to look at just 3 cards and not even draw one, but you never know. Maybe there could be some future play with this, and maybe in future sets that where this card would really, really help you. Or if you want to just look at the top of your deck and know you can plan ahead what you're going to be drawing, if nothing else. So I guess that's kind of the idea behind him. You can plan your draws and your moves based on that. Who knows? He could be interesting. Could be fun. Oh, here we go. Next is Beerus, a 3-cost, 20k attack, 10k combo support, God of Destruction special trait, and it's uncommon. When attacking, KO one of your other battle cards. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to its owner's hand. So this is one where you could potentially, going back to that Vegito, I mentioned the 2-cost Vegito earlier, you could attack with Vegito first, summon him, attack with, let's say you have Vegito on turn 2, and he managed to survive to turn 3. You play this Beerus for 3-cost, and then you attack with Vegito first, then attack with Beerus, and you can KO your Vegito, which means, and by destroying him, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to the hand. And this could be any card. It can be an 8-cost Broly, it could be the 6-cost androids, or even just a 4-cost Cooler who's annoying you. And then your Vegito, since it was KO'd, it doesn't have to be by your opponent. It can put one of your opponent's cards with 2 or less at the bottom of their deck. So if you have a 2-cost blocker, or maybe a 2-cost something like Hit who's really annoying you, you can do that. So I can see potential for this Beerus. Maybe not too much right now, but the ability to KO your own cards is actually pretty valuable. Hopefully we get to see more of those. Next is 3-cost, 20k attack, 10k combo support, Goku Black. It has the same special trait, it's uncommon. When attacking, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and play up to 1 Zamasu with the cost of 1. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. Now this obviously is meant more so for Goku Black cards. Well, Goku Black decks, I should say. Because you want to get a 1-cost Zamasu, play the 1-cost Zamasu, sacrifice him using Goku Black's ability to bring out your 6-star Goku Black as soon as possible. Or any Goku Black really, but 6-star is the ideal. So this is definitely more of a Goku Black leader card, but if I decide to try to experiment with a Goku Black strategy with Vegeta, pseudo Goku Black strategy with Vegeta, this is definitely something I would consider. Now I'm kind of torn on this one. It's a 3-cost, 20k attack, 10k combo support, Gotenks. Has the Saiyan and Earthling special traits, uncommon. I believe, okay, so first story, the effect. Activate main. Return this card to its owner's hand. If your leader is Vegeta, play up to 1 Gotenks with the cost of 4 from your hand in rest mode. So I believe this is the first card that specifies the first card that its ability is based on whether your leader is Vegeta. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is. So the idea is that you'll play this card on turn 3, attack with it, and then as long as your leader is Vegeta, you return it to your hand, and return this card to your hand, and then you play your 4-star Gotenks from the 4-cost Gotenks from. As you can tell, I'm someone who's played Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. I'm not great at that game either, but anyway, moving on. Going back to this card, you play a 4-cost Gotenks, the one from the starter deck, from your hand at that point. And you get to draw 2 cards using that Gotenks, as long as you have 7 or fewer cards, and you have the Goten and Trunks in your discard pile to do it. So I'm kind of torn on this one. I do like that it is Vegeta-centric, but the fact that you have to play your Gotenks in rest mode, this card basically will just give you 3 10k supports, which is not bad, I'm not going to lie. But then you don't get to attack with the Gotenks. It's probably going to, the red is probably going to destroy it at the end of the turn. It's going to minus it. And otherwise you're just defending it with those 3, with the 10k combos that you have in your hand now. Which, is still not a bad strategy, because if nothing else, then you don't have to spend the energy next turn to get your Gotenks back on the field. So I definitely have got to experiment with this card. Since it's the first Vegeta specific one, Vegeta leader specific one, I have to try it. Next up, we have the Champion of Justice himself, the Great Saiyaman. He is a 3-cost, 25k attack, 10k combo support, Saiyan/Earthling for his special traits, and he's a common card. He has no special abilities, he's skillless, so he would actually be a perfect target for the Videl that I showed earlier. You play her on turn 2 for 1 cost, use her ability for 1 more energy to summon Great Saiyaman here. And summon Great Saiyaman, and you still have 1 energy left over. Well, actually, on turn 2 you wouldn't have any energy, but you can do this on turn. If you do it on turn 3, you could summon her and use her ability. That's 2 energy to summon him, and you still have 1 left over if you want to use like a Gallic Gun, Final Hope Slash, or you just summon another card. Any other 1 energy battle card. Next is Vegeta. 3-cost, 25k attack, 5,000 combo support. Saiyan/Potara special trait, and secret rare card. No, not secret rare, super rare card. This one will be a little harder to come across. Permanent, your turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, reduce the cost of battle cards in your opponent's battle area by 1. On play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 1 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. This card is definitely one I want to experiment with. I'm not sure how much Vegeta will use this ability, but once you see my videos that I've been using recently in my free play videos, the deck that I've been using has basically been trying mostly using lower cost cards, and then combining that with like the peel off loop, peel off, Final Hope Slash. I've been using the 1 cost Bulma that reduces the cost of an extra card in your hand by 1 blue. So this could actually kind of maybe work into that. Obviously you want to have 7 or fewer cards in your hand most of the time when you're a blue player, and when it hits the field it automatically gets rid of one of your opponent's cards with 2 or less, since as long as you have 7 or fewer, it's going to reduce a 2-cost card to 1, so you can put one of them at the bottom of your deck. And with Final Hope Slash, that helps a lot too, because now 3 costs can go back to your opponent's hand as well. But yeah, this one is definitely one I want to experiment with. It's just getting even just 2 of them might be an issue with the super rarity. Next is a 4-cost, 25k attack, 5k combo support, fused Zamasu. Supreme Kai/Potara special traits. Super rare also. When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1 card. Always good. When KO'd, play this card from your drop in rest mode, then you can't play Zamasu fused for the turn. I say fused Zamasu, but and technically in the game it's Zamasu fused. But I just usually go by what I think sounds better myself. That's why I call Shin Supreme Kai, even though it's Shin in the game. He's always called Supreme Kai, so I just call him Supreme Kai. Anyway, going back to Fuse Zamasu here. Now, being able to draw a card on attack is always great, especially for blue players. If you have kind of a low, since you're always playing with usually a lower hand than your opponent, being able to keep that balance is always good. And the second ability is when he's KO'd, he gets brought back in rest mode, unfortunately, so you can't swing twice with him. You can't do 2 attacks. But, I mean, if you can keep him alive, he, kind of pays for himself every turn. 25k is good. He can attack into Broly, or even his own new leader card. And the only thing I don't really care for in this artwork, as just a note, kind of a nitpick here, is I don't like that they show the hand of the sword. I mean, I guess I get it, but it just seems odd. I don't know. I think maybe if the sword wasn't even there, that'd be kind of a cool pose. Him like about to shoot a blast of energy. Anyway, that's just my thought on the artwork there. Next is another Goku Black. This one is 4 cost, 30k attack, 5k combo support. When attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. This one's pretty good, actually. I'm not sure if I would use it in necessarily a Vegeta build, but you never know. It's 30k, that's always a strong baseline to attack into, and you can get rid of any of your opponent's 2 costs or less. And if you played that super rare Vegeta from a few cards back, it basically makes any 3 cost or less card susceptible to being put at the bottom of the deck. And I'm not sure if I mentioned... Oh, I did. The Zamasu was super rare, but this Goku Black is just a rare card. So it won't be too hard to come across. I think it's definitely more of a Goku Black leader card, but I can see it. Experimenting with it in Vegeta. Next is a Goku card. 4 cost, 30k attack, 0 combo support. Activate main. Once per turn, discard 3 cards with Saiyan and their special traits from your hand. Switch this card to active mode, and this card gets 25k power for the turn. I should also say that this card is a Saiyan special trait and uncommon. This card I'm actually kind of excited to experiment with. Not the card I'm most excited for, we haven't gotten to it yet, but you summon this card on turn 4, you attack for 30k, which is always good, and let's attack for 30k. Then you activate its effect. Discard 3 cards with Saiyan and the special traits. You might have an extra one of these in your hand that you can't use. It's not going to be combo support. Discard that. If you're out of energy because it's your turn 4 and you spent it all on him, you might have a Final Hope Slash or a Gallic Gun, something you can't use. You won't be able even to use on your opponent's turn. You get to discard a couple of those and give this card attack again with 55k power, which is nothing to sneeze at. Even Broly would have to use a giant meteor and something else to get out of it. So I can see this card, coming in, saving you potentially. I think it's kind of susceptible. I think it's kind of situational, but like I said, I really do want to experiment with it. I don't know if I mentioned it, it's uncommon. I really love the artwork on it, though. It's clearly correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure he's doing the Dragon Fist here. They just don't have the dragon head around it because maybe there wasn't enough room to draw it. Next is a Vegeta. 4 cost, 30k attack, 0 combo power. When attacking, if your leader is Future Trunks, look at the bottom card of your deck and play up to 1 blue battle card with a cost of 2 or less. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Obviously this is a Future Trunks card, but I can see maybe Vegeta using this if you have a lot of cards where maybe if you use that Zuno card, you put certain cards at the bottom of your deck, you could play this card knowing what the bottom card of your deck is, because it's any blue battle card with a cost of 2 or less. It doesn't have to be Trunks or Vegeta or anything like that. You could plan accordingly that way if you'd like. Maybe you could play the 2 cost Goten or Trunks, something like that. So it has potential, but definitely more of a Future Trunks card, since he kind of plays into that with that 2 cost Future Trunks battle card from set 1. This is the card I'm most excited about. It's a 4-cost, 30k attack, 0 combo power Vegeta card. It has the Saiyan special trait, and it's a rare card, so not too hard to come across. On play, play up to 1 Bulma with a cost of 1 from your hand. And also activate once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card and your leader get plus 5,000 power for the turn. So this card basically turns you and your leader into, well, it turns this card itself into a 35k attack, which is awesome. But it also ups your Vegeta as long as he's used your Vegeta leader. If you've used the special ability, it's now up to 40k attack. Plus, if you play the 1-cost Bulma with the one that we covered, the very first card we covered, on play that Bulma will power up either this card or your leader by an extra 10k. Plus, you can also combo that Bulma into either of these cards. So let's see. For this card, if you were to use that combo, you summon him, power himself up to 35, then Bulma to 45, and then combo her off to 55, if I did my math right. So this card could be up to 55, swinging for 55. And your leader, with its special ability, becomes 35. This card becomes 40,000. The Bulma would power it up to 50,000, and then combo the Bulma again itself, and the leader becomes a 60k attack, which is going to be hard for anybody to get around. They're going to have to spend a lot of cards in their hand, or they're just going to have to take it. And I'm starting to think that's the strategy for Vegeta. This next set is to go really tall on your turns, but I'll cover more of that at the end. Anyway, I'm super excited for this card. I love the picture too. Next is another Fused Zamasu. This one is 5 cost, has 30k attack, 0 combo power. It has the Supreme Kai and Potara special traits, and it's uncommon. Now, when KO'd, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, play up to 1 Fused Zamasu with a cost of 6 from your hand. So this card is definitely... There's a 6-cost Fused Zamasu. Yeah, I believe it's the next card we're going to look at, but this one is definitely meant to be played in combination with that. But if nothing else, it's a 5-cost, 30k attack. So you have to combo, you have to play a card. So no matter what leader you're attacking into, they're going to have to combo something out of it. Play 1 card from their hand to get out of it, if nothing else. But it has to be KO. That's the only problem. Potential problem. Now, since this card is 30k, that means that the opponent's most likely going to want to get it off the board because they're not going to have to defend against it. So it's still most likely going to go off its ability at some point. Okay, so next is that 6-star, 6-cost Zamasu, kind of I referenced in the last card. It's 6 cost, 40k attack, 5k combo support, and it's actually a Fused Zamasu, I should clarify. A Fused Zamasu. Supreme Kai / Potara special traits. It's a rare card. It's a critical striker, which are always annoying, especially when they're higher level. And it has an ability auto once per turn. When your opponent plays a battle card, if your life is at 1, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and return them to their owner's hand. See, now this card, I can see it being annoying, but at the same time, the fact that your life has to be at 1, your opponent could just play a 1-star, Roshi, let's say, if you're playing red, 1-star Roshi that draws them a card, and then forces you to send all other cards. Oh, well, then all their other battle cards, if they have any on the field, will go back to their hand, and then they can just still play whatever else they have. So red, let's say they spend their 5th energy down their 5th turn, so they only have 5 energy. They play that Roshi to draw a card, and this card activates, sends it back to his hand, and your opponent could just play, let's say, the 4-drop Goku, lower this by 15,000, and then attack into it, potentially getting rid of it, and still taking a life from you anyway. I mean, it has potential, I'm not going to lie. It does, and the picture is kind of off-putting, but, I guess it's getting the point across. It's creepy. But this one, yeah, I would definitely need to experiment with this one at some point. Although I think this is more of a Goku. Well, not even really Goku Black. I think this is definitely a fused Zamasu leader card, since it can heal itself. Anyway, going on to Vegito, the secret rare Vegito. This one is 5 cost, 30k attack, 5k support. Has the Saiyan / Potara special traits. As mentioned, it's a secret rare. On play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or less and return it to its owner's hand. Activate main once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, switch this card to active mode. This one is a definite experimental card. It has the ability of the Future Trunks super rare from the first set. So any card with a cost of 5 or less gets bounced back to your opponent's hand. If you have that 3-star Vegito on the field, you can send a 6-cost card back to the hand as well. So those androids, if they decide to not attack the previous turn, they're just trying to set up, and you got that Vegito on the field, you could summon this and send the androids back to their hand, and when they summoned it again, well, no, they would probably have destroyed that 3-star Vegito. But regardless, anyway, I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of here. But anyway, sending 5 or less, sending back to the hand isn't terrible. And nothing else to get rid of 5-drop Selku, as they call it. And if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card basically can attack twice, 2 separate attacks, but 30k each, which is always good. Combine that with, let's say, a Gallic Gun, it's 45k attack for one of them, or a Future Hope Slash if you have the extra energy to spend. Comes a 50k attack. So yeah, like I said, it has some combo power, so it's not completely dead in your hand. So like I said, I definitely want to experiment if I'm able to get a hold of it. Next is Zeno. 6 cost, 20k attack with 10k support. On play, choose all cards in the battle areas other than this card and place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in a random order. This is a complete board wipe, basically a do-over almost. You summon it, every card, including your own, get sent back to the bottom of their decks in a random order, so you can't really plan it too well with that 4-cost Vegeta that plays cards on the bottom of your deck. Unfortunately, you can't synergize it too well with that. But if you just need to wipe their board, if let's say you're playing somebody has a bunch of blockers, yellow tends to have coolers, and King Colds I know they're getting at least one more King Cold in this set. Play this, send everything back, and you still have a 20k attack. You can attack into everything except Broly, but it's not bad, and it's 10k power, so it's not dead in your hand. Nothing else you can combo it off, and it's only rare, so board wipe for pretty easy to come. That's easy to come across is never a bad thing. I'll definitely gonna experiment with him at some point. Next is Elder Kai, or Old Kai in this game. I'll call him Elder Kai. 7 cost, 15k attack, 10k combo. It's a super combo, so it becomes 20k combo when you use it on your opponent's turn. It only has the Supreme Kai special trait on it. It's uncommon. Unfortunately, you can't look for it with the Shin, the Supreme Kai from this set. But I think it does come with another card. I want to say in this set. I can't think of it, but I don't think we've come across it yet. If I think of it, I'll mention it when we get to the card. But it's super combo. I like it. I might replace my Videls, maybe even one of the Yajiropes in there with him for a couple of these guys. It's uncommon, in case I didn't mention that before. Next is Absolute Lightning, an extra card that is 3 cost, has the Supreme Kai / Potara special traits, uncommon. Activate main, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. This can be very good. I'm a little torn on it though, because it costs 3. That is a lot of energy to play, even to get rid of a Broly, an 8-cost Broly. Because let's say it's your 5th turn, you play this to get rid of the Broly, because you managed to survive the first, onslaught of attacks. and then you're left with 2 energy. I'm trying to think of what you could do. I mean, you could summon. I mean, in terms of Vegeta right now, I'm only thinking the Super Saiyan Trunks, the Kid Trunks, 2 cost that bumps itself up to 25k. But I mean, it could be. I don't know. It definitely has potential because you can get rid of anything on the board. So now I can see now since I've been running the 1 cost Bulma that lowers extra cards by 1. If that Bulma can survive, then this actually becomes only 2 cost, which I think is a lot more reasonable. But I'll most likely try running a couple of these in my deck and see what happens. But yeah, it's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. It's just hard to find a room for it, I think. Mostly, and I only say that because a lot of the other colors, they get to get a battle card while getting rid of your cards on the field. This, you don't get any cards on the field by playing this. You just get rid of one of your opponents. It's like Broly, you get rid of one of your opponents, and you get an attacker, a 2 times attacker. The androids are the same way. They get rid of 2 of your weaker cards, and they're a double striker. Red, half of their cards, minus your own cards, and get rid of those because they minus them to 0. And that's annoying. And they still have their own battle cards on the field, so that's the only reason I'm hesitant about this one. It's not bad, but the fact that you don't get to summon anything as an addition to it is, I think, really hurts its viability. Yeah, moving on. Our next card is Awakening to Super Saiyan Rose. I think I'm pronouncing that right. 3 cost extra card. Has the Saiyan special trait, and it's a common card. Activate main, choose all cards with Earthling and their special traits in the battle areas and return them to their owner's hands. Then, if you return 3 or more cards, draw 2 cards. This one I'm not too sure about. Maybe if you have a bunch of peel-offs on the field. Speaking as a Vegeta player, if I had like 2 or 3 peel-offs on the field, I could play this, get them back to my hand, and then I get to draw 2 cards. I mean, technically, it can work from any battle area, so your opponent too. If they have Earthlings, so if they have those 3-drop Gokus, the 4-drop Gohans, Earthling, I think those have Earthling in them. I could be wrong. I don't play Red very much. Not too familiar with him, but maybe they have Krillins in there, Tiens, or that new Tien that summons 3 other Tiens. You can send 3 of them back to their hand. And then you can draw 2 cards. But it costs 3 energy, that's a lot. I mean, I might experiment with it at some point, but right now, it's not at the top of my list to play with. Our next extra card is Blades of Judgment, which is 1 cost. Activate main/battle. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reel up to 1 card with Supreme Kai and its special traits, and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order. Okay. So now, I think this is the card that I was thinking of for the Elder Kai. Yes. You can actually search for Elder Kai with this because it looks for cards with the Supreme Kai special trait, and Elder Kai does have that. But it also works with any card with Supreme Kai and its special trait. So obviously, Zamasu's, fused Zamasus are going to be most likely the prime targets. But let's say if you're playing defensively, because it's activate main/battle, so I'm guessing that means you can do it during either player's battle turn. Correct me if I'm wrong. You play this to hopefully, and you look at top 5 cards. Hey, I need a strong defense, so I'll get Elder Kai to block it. So just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking. Again, I'm not a Zamasu play. Well, nobody's a Zamasu player yet because he hasn't been released, but I definitely will not be a Zamasu player right from the get-go. But off the top of my head, as a Vegeta player, that's what I'm thinking. I can search for Supreme Kai with this if I want to. Next is Divine Hammer. It's an extra card that costs 2 energy. Supreme Kai/Potara special trait. And it's a common card. And actually, the last card, Blades of Judgment, is a common card. I don't know if I mentioned that. And going back, Awakening to Super Saiyan Rose is a common card as well. I don't know if I've been saying the rarities in these last few, but anyway, back to Divine Hammer. Activate battle. If you have a Zamasu, if you have a Fused Zamasu battle card, choose your leader or up to one of your battle cards, and it gets plus 30k power for the battle. Obviously, this is going to work if you have Zamasus on the field. You might spend 1 energy to find a Zamasu. Well, yeah, using Blaze of Judgment, you'll spend 1 energy to find, let's say, a low cost regular Zamasu. Or, well, it has to be a Fused Zamasu. Well, if you have a Fused Zamasu, the super rare Zamasu that revives itself. Let's say your opponent gets rid of it, but then it comes back in rest mode, and the opponent tries to get rid of it again by attacking. Because there are a lot of double attackers that are annoying, you play this, and it gets a 30k boost, so it's really hard to get around. But yeah, I will most likely not be using this very much, but I mean, for Zamasu-centric players, yeah, this is really good for them, I think. Unfortunately, it costs 2. That's my only complaint. A lot of blues cards, I noticed, cost a lot of energy for the payoff. I don't think is as good as it would be for other colors, but I can always make another video about my problems with blue, being a player who's not actually very good at the game. Our next extra card is Fusion of Evil Power. It's a 3-cost card. Supreme Kai / Saiyan / Patara special traits, and it's a rare card. Activate main. You place 1 Goku Black and 1 Zamasu card from your hand or your battle area at the bottom of your deck. Draw 2 cards, then play up to 1 Fused Zamasu with a cost of 4 from your hand. 3 cost. I really don't know if this card is worth that much. I mean, if you have a Zamasu on the field, and Goku Black and Zamasu, if you have one of them on the field already, Goku Black, yeah, or Zamasu, if you have one of them on the field, it might not be bad, because you have to place them at the bottom of your deck. I do like that it's kind of playing into the fusion aspect, get rid of both of them to get a Fused Zamasu, but it has to be a 4-cost Fused Zamasu that comes out, and obviously it's meant to work with the super rare one. That's hard to get rid of. You do get to draw 2 cards, which isn't terrible, but again, for 3 energy, getting rid of 2 of your own cards to draw 2 and then summon 1 from your hand. I mean, if you play it on turn 3, it could be good, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not bad. It's good. It's definitely more of a Zamasu card, or Goku Black, rather more. Time Ring, an extra card that costs 1 energy. Activate main, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, and place them at the top or bottom of your deck in any order, then draw 1 card. This card is good, I think, but it's just kind of situational as to when you'd want to play it. This card would be good if, let's say, you were to, especially if for me, since I've been playing the Bulma that reduces cost of extra cards, this is basically a free draw 1 card, but you can choose what you draw, almost. If the 3 cards you see at the top of your deck aren't any good, though, you can just place them at the bottom and hopefully you draw something better from that 4th card. I haven't played any cards, actually, that let you rearrange decks in order, so I wonder how that works in the client. I should mention that I only play the client. I have the starter decks in real life, but I don't know any place locally that plays it in my area. So yeah, right now I'm exclusively online, playing this game online. But it's still fun, I'm not gonna lie. Still really fun. Okay, so, alright, that is it for the blue cards right now. And I'll get into what I'm most excited about next. Okay, so the kind of conclusion, the cards I'm definitely most excited to play or to experiment with are the 4-cost Vegeta that lets you summon a 1-cost Bulma from your hand. Also, the 1-cost Bulma is the next card I'm super excited to use. I also really want to test out the 4-cost Goku. that gives you 25k by discarding 3 cards. See how that works. And the Zamasu, the 2-cost Zamasu that can't be removed by your opponent, and Vegeta. I'm also really excited to experiment with and see how they work into my current strategy. Now, on that point, being a Vegeta player, my strategies usually are to hit really hard, because that's kind of what Vegeta does. He gets up to 35k, which means if you're attacking to their leader, if they're not using a super combo, they're getting rid of at least 2 cards, or in Broly's case, 1 gigantic meteor, but still, that's still 1 card. And I think that's really the go-to for Vegeta. You're probably not going to be going have a huge board of people. You're not going to have a huge board. You're going to have a lot of people on the field, maybe 3 at the most. That's if you're lucky, if they don't get taken care of. So maybe 1 or 2 you might keep on the board, but they have to be able to hit really high, and that's why I really like the Vegeta and Goku as possibilities. And that Bulma is really awesome because you don't have to wait for that Vegeta. It's a 1 cost. You can play it as early as turn 1. Power up your Vegeta. For the green matchups, they like to defend early, so you play that Bulma, powers up your, and then combo it for an extra 20k. They'll have to either take that hit or sacrifice a lot early game, so they don't have all those cards later in the match. And then you can use your peel off to get the Bulma back once turn 4 comes around and you have that Vegeta. You summon him, get that Bulma again. And then just keep doing that. I also like the idea of using it with the Bulma I'm currently using that reduces extra cards by 1, because if you don't have the 1 cost, the one that pumps up your Vegetas, the new Bulma, you can summon the other one that it'll reduce the next extra card in your hand by 1, which would be great with Final Hope Slash or Gallic Gun's always an awesome card. I love Gallic Gun. So it can power it up even more. So even though you're not powering up with the Bulma itself, you're using the Bulma's ability to power up, could still power up for a similar boost in strength. And that is really awesome. I love that strategy with Vegeta. Like I said, you're not going to have too many people on the board usually for blue. At least for me, in my experience. Like I said, I'm not that good. I'm probably just not thinking outside the box or very well. And I do want to give a shout out to Raul, I believe it's TCG. I think I'm pronouncing that, because I do like that he seems to respect Vegeta a little more than some of the other people I've seen talk about the game. He seems to really like, and he seems to really like know what Vegeta can do. More so than me, probably, because even though he doesn't really play Vegeta, from what I can tell, he can respect him when he comes across him and knows the danger he can pose. Now, let's see, moving on. I was gonna say something else. I had something else in there. Kind of moving on from the Raul thing. Oh yeah, it was Raul who got me thinking about not using so much early game to lower my life by 2. Like, again, so early in the game, because you would want to defend, because the lower you get yourself too low too soon, then your opponent's going to be attacking into your 20k, just like anybody would, especially against yellow. That's dangerous. If they're running a bunch of Ginyu Force cards, you gotta have to defend a lot against it, and if you're going to be taking hits, you may as well do it when you have tons of life left. So you'll want to defend more. I still like the idea of playing 1 or 2 mice at least, because if you need a Self-Awakener, let's say your opponent gets you down to 5 and then they decide they're not going to attack. I have been in games like that where I don't have any Self-Awakeners in my hand and my opponent just keeps stalling, just keeps building their board, and they're not attacking me to get me down. So I like the idea of having a cheap self-awakener to get me over that threshold to kind of mid-game, so that way I can start ramping up. And once I get up to once I start activating his ability, then he really puts on pressure. And with this new support, especially that Bulma, he can really pose a threat to enemies, no matter who they are. Even Broly's gonna have to, cower in fear of Vegeta from time to time. The only one that I think is going to be super annoying is Cell, mostly because of the new 8-drop Cell that gives you an extra life. Because I can see a deck that uses a combination of that and the 6-drop Gohan from set 1 that gives you an extra life to just keep recycling your life over and over again. And super annoying. And since Vegeta, you want to hit hard, well, getting rid of the life won't necessarily be a bad thing. They're going to keep surviving longer and longer, and it's hard for Blue to stay in the game longer and longer, especially against Green, because they have basically 3 boss monsters. No, 4 now that they're going to have with Cell. And I don't know if no other deck really has that many boss monsters that you have to worry about. But like I said, I'm super excited to try Vegeta. Maybe I'll do another video talking about my thoughts on just Blue in general, but really I can only talk about it from Vegeta player because I've never used Future Trunks or Goku Black. I probably would do Future Trunks over Goku Black, mostly because when I was trying to get Mai's, I kept getting 6-cost Goku Black secret super rares, so that kind of annoyed me and turned me off to using Goku Black as a leader. But I know it's stupid, but anyway. Alright, I think that should be the end of the video. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to see more of these types of off-the-cuff things, and I'll see you in the next one.